never really got a chance to think about that.
Okay, okay.
Okay. So please tell me something about yourself. Where are you from? What do you do?
As you know, my name is Kunal. I'm Kunal Gupta, and I'm from West Bengal. And I have completed my graduation in the field of computer science engineering last year, and currently I'm looking for a job.
Okay, fine. So have you gone through the session notes?
No, I didn't go through the session notes. Sometimes I go through, sometimes I don't.
So today's topic is a stranger versus you.
A stranger versus you.
Yes, a stranger versus you.
So let me just open the
I'll read it
open
aloud
the.
for you. See, would you put a stranger before yourself? Can you think of a situation in which you would? Got it?
If I'm thinking correctly, let me just ask you that: are you talking about those kind of situations where, like, a stranger is injured on the road, or is okay? Can you give a bit more context about what you are asking?
Suppose you have a very important examination of yours, okay? Say
Mm-hmm.
CAT or a very important job interview,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe a flight that you
Mm-hmm.
need to onboard.
Mm-hmm.
And in the middle of the way, you find a
Mm-hmm.
person who needs medical emergency.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And this particular situation would require immediate action.
Mm-hmm.
So what would you do and why?
So, first of all, if I knew something about the medical field, I would definitely help him. But as I am not a profession in that field, and if I'm the first person, I would definitely call an ambulance or get him some help. But if there are people already helping, then there's no point of me going and helping because they will already do a good
There
job.
is no one, okay? There is no one. Those, like,
Okay.
that particular person is stranded and you don't have
Mhm.
access to your mobile phone as well.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a situation.
I would definitely help that person because it would not take a lot of time. I just getting him to the hospital won't take a lot of time because you just have to call the ambulance, and from then they'll uh, take it on from there. I think I would definitely help the person. But if it's very urgent, then I think someone else might help him. I would
Now,
not
do you?
I would not approach that person if it was very urgent.
Okay.
If the exam was very urgent and I had to reach on time, something of that sort, then I would not approach that situation.
Now, tell me something.
Mm.
If what do you think? Like, should we memorize some numbers at least in our life? Shouldn't we be too much dependent on our mobile phones for
Mm.
everything entirely?
Yeah, I think you should memorize important numbers like people who you really trust and who you are very familiar with. Like in my case, I would definitely remember my dad's number and my brother's number and like my family members. At, at the very least, at least people should remember their father's number, I think.
Okay, you always remember the number?
Yes.
Wow. I remember my father's number, my mother's number, my brother's
Mm.
number.
Mm. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think at least a person should know their family members' numbers, at least. Apart from that, I think people can live without memorizing the numbers.
Yeah. These are the important numbers.
Yes.
Okay. Now, tell me, like, when we are talking about something, mm,
Mm.
suppose you stranded that person on the road, as you said that your exam is very important. Okay. You stranded the person on the road
Mhm. Mhm.
and you continued to your exam. Would
Mhm.
you regret? Would you have a guilt in your mind that you actually left a person who wasn't help and you
Hmm.
didn't help that person?
Actually, I won't have that regret because now there's a lot of conditions like if there are people who are already there, they and people who are not having very urgent work like me, so they will provide help to that person. And so in that case, I won't be that guilty about myself of not helping that person.
Okay. So, would you be able to concentrate on your examination?
Yeah, obviously, because an examination is something that you prepare for a very long time, and it depends on the situation. Like now, if the person has a very bad accident or something like that, like is a very dire situation, then it might mess with your head. But at the end of the day, you have to be a little bit more rational and think about your career. I think I'm being a bit selfish right now, but I think that's what I would do. That's my honest opinion.
See, that is good. At least you're being honest, right?
Because like I said, people are always there. There's in our country, there's no shortage of people around. You go to any place, you won't find any place empty. People are always there to help you or do something about it.
Yeah, I can understand.
Wh- What would you have done?
I am a very emotional person, so I would leave my exam and stay with that person.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, I'm that sort of person. Like for me, emotions and everything is above.
Mhm.
I am a very different sort of a person.
Yeah, even I was a bit emotional when I was like 5, 6 years down the line when I was in school and college. I was a bit emotional, but then I realized that if I don't control my emotions, then it can get the better of me, if that makes any sense. Like you have to keep a check of your emotions all the time. You can't just let it go. Like if you're angry, you can't just go on doing stuff. If you're sad, like you can't just keep on crying. You have to do something about it. So you have to be a bit rational and keep your emotions in check, I think.
Yeah, that
i
is
think
very
i think
important.
i think everybody is emotional, and some people deal with their emotions better than other people, I would say that. And some people don't have control over their emotions.
Yeah, I am that sort of a person that if I see any very emotional thing
Mhm.
related to a human or an animal, I start crying without.
Okay.
I try to control so much still. So it's like, yeah, that's fine.
Mhm. Yeah, you
Okay.
and nowadays these sort of things a lot happen on the road. Like there are a lot of accidents. Like whenever you go on a highway, like at least there's always a dead animal always on the highway. Have you noticed that?
No, I usually travel by car, and anybody is driving the car, I'm sitting at the back,
Hmm.
so never
Okay,
really
okay,
thought of it. Yeah,
okay,
never really got a chance to think about that.
okay, okay.
Yeah, okay. So, like, would you do anything to check on them later? Like, after examination is done, would you
Hmm.
make any effort to check on them later?
Uh, let's be honest. Like, how would I get to know where that person is after the exam?
Carolina,
So
would you make
even
effort?
if I wanted to check on that person, I wouldn't be able to, isn't
Come
it?
on. I'm telling you something. You boys, like, if you like a girl, okay, if you have a
Mm-hmm.
crush on a girl, you'll
Mm-hmm.
just see her, you'll just look at her, and you'll find her from anywhere.
Yeah, you'll ask someone who knows something about the other person.
Yeah, you'll search on Instagram, you'll do anything, but you'll search her.
Yeah, that's a good point. That if you wanted to know about that person because of social media nowadays, you can search on that person and you can find him. Like you can go on that spot and ask the people over there about what happened to that person, in which hospital he or she is, stuff like that. That can be done.
Yeah, exactly. That is something I'm talking about, right?
Hmm.
That could be done.
Hmm. Yes.
Okay. So, according to you, what is the best way to manage such a situation?
What is the best way to manage such a situation? There's no such best way. Like in this case, like for you, the best way would be to leave everything and give help to that person. For me, I would just continue on my path. So for both of us, the best is different, isn't it?
Still,
So
what could be the ideal way?
the ideal way would be to get him some help and carry on with your work. That should be the ideal way, I think.
And what do you think? How we would be able to do that?
How would we be able to do that? I don't know. Like, it depends really on the situation. Like, how far are you from that person who is in trouble or having some problem, isn't it? Like, if you're in a metro or in some car, you can't just. In a car, you can stop, but in a metro, if you see somebody outside, you can't do anything about it, isn't it?
So you saw someone on the road now.
Hmm. Yeah, I would definitely help the person. I think if I would get him some help and then carry on with my job, whatever work I have.
Yeah, or what we can do is, see, we don't have access to our phones. We can remember some emergency numbers,
Hmm.
maybe of the ambulance or of any particular, say, cops or something like that. We can borrow somebody's mobile phone, call the
Hmm.
ambulance, inform the people,
Hmm.
and then then we would be having that satisfaction that yes,
Hmm.
right?
No, even if you were not having a mobile phone, someone else around you would definitely have a mobile phone, isn't it?
Yeah, so you can borrow the phone from them. That only I'm saying now.
Yes, or they can call the ambulance themselves. Like people are very sometimes I've seen that people say that people don't help, but I have seen personally that there one or two people are very helpful everywhere. They will
Yeah,
definitely
there are
help
some
you.
people, correct, correct. There are some people who are like, wow, they are like angels.
Yeah, so I think 90% won't bother, but 10% would definitely bother. I think that would be the very close statistic.
Actually.
Hmm.
And sorry for drinking water again and again. Actually, I'm having bristles in my mouth because of, summers. That is the reason I'm not
Okay.
able to speak properly as well. That is why I'm not drinking water again and again.
Okay.
Yes. So, now tell me, mm, imagine if you're taking that person to the
Mm-hmm.
hospital, okay? There
Mm-hmm.
would be some legal formalities, just a hypocrite situation, okay? Suppose you
Yeah,
took
yeah,
the
yeah.
person to the hospital, okay? So there would be
Mm-hmm.
some legal formalities. So,
Mm-hmm.
would you be interested in doing those legal formalities?
Obviously, no, I won't be able to do all that stuff because it becomes a very fussy process after that. You get involved and like you have to be involved in that person. I don't
Yeah,
know. I might help that. I might get. It depends on the situation, really. Like sometimes you really prepare. You really think that you might be doing this in that situation, but sometimes you get caught away with the situation so much that you just can't control your emotions and do everything helpful for that person. Like I'm talking rationally right now because I'm not in that situation, but if I see that person's pain, then I might
yeah, it is
help him with
possible.
whatever need he needs. Like if it even was being legally involved with that person or getting sometimes they ask that
Some monetary help
some
for the
monetary
treatment.
health. Yeah, yeah, sure.
Yeah, this is, you said this correctly. It depends upon the situation.
Yeah, depends on the situation. Like if it's very severe, then you can't help, but you can't just go on with your job. You have to help that person. But it's if it's a small accident, like there's like a small scratch or something, a cut, then it can be taken care of.
Yeah, it could be, taken care of.
Mhm.
That is something true. It's like, speaking anytime is very easy. But then, being in that situation
Yeah,
and
that's the whole
reacting
point.
is completely different, right?
Yeah, right now I'm saying that I'm not that emotionally driven person, but in that moment I might become very emotional. No, even I don't know sometimes,
Yeah, it is
because I'm
possible.
because I'm not faced with that situation and any day, so I don't know how would I would react.
How would I react, right?
Yes.
This is actually true. Because see, what happens, these situations can never be pretended or never be, just, we can't do anything. We can't predict these situations, right?
Yeah, we can't predict these situations, and there are a lot of variables in this kind of situation.